Hey everyone, how's it going? It is me, that guy from Team Niederdorf, bringing you a sorta Dragon Ball discussion because Team 4-Star has put out, they start doing their DBCember. If you haven't seen it, every year they do a list of the top 24 whatever. Last year was the movies. Forget what the year before was. Fuck. Anyhow, I'm not gonna try wasting time thinking about it. Anyhow, this year's Villians. So right now we have number 24 through 19. I'm going to watch this list with you, and then we're going to go through and see where I would have maybe put things, see, their reasonings for putting it there on the list, and, my personal opinion also, because after all, I sort of want to make this a discussion. Then after this, I want you to comment down below where you think some of these guys should be on the list, if they should be on the list at all, and, I'm not going to beg you for likes like everyone else going, YouTube's algorithm changed, you need to beg for likes. I mean, it did change, and that's like one of the things, but, fuck it. Who needs a channel? Who needs one? PewDiePie's about to delete his, possibly, so that's a thing. Anyhow, let's get on with this shit. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
24.
Harudagon.
No, it's Harudagon.
What
Yes.
even is that name?
Well, you see, the character's name actually comes from the movie's co-producer.
I actually like
who,
Japanese guy.
Harudagon.
This villain barely makes the list on his looks, powers, and concept alone. He has
Yep.
absolutely no personality.
He
nor
has a cool
motivation
design, and
beyond
that's
being
about
a
it.
disruptive, fire-breathing, terrifying creature that,
I'm
while
curious what
unique
they
to
would
this
put below
franchise,
this, though.
has very little lasting impact.
Honestly, as with
'Cause-
many of the DBZ movie villains, he'd likely be higher on this list if he had exhibited any character or emotion, but
Yeah.
that's all left to Hoy, who, well, he's not bad, but...
He's just a catalyst to move the plot
He ain't
along.
great.
Honestly, I love Harudagon, but he's not a good villain. Just a
Not
cool
at all.
concept that does well enough for the film he's in.
He's sorta like a
Exhibiting some
Broly.
Interesting abilities and a horrifying
Except Broly
design.
better.
Actually, his name even plays into that. You see, the Garn in the name comes from the Japanese onomatopoeia.
Also, he gets defeated in the most infuriating way possible, negating most of the climax and development for other characters.
Dragon Fist is pretty cool, though.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, we get Dragon Fist out of this, as they said.
23.
That's a great
The
impact.
Big Getty Star allowed him to
Cheat
cheat low
that.
rankings. How could this
Let's
be?
be.
Yeah. I wanted to start
cooler.
with a joke because some of you are probably pissed.
If some of you remember our last list, our opinions on the Cooler films lay somewhere firmly around middling, with Cooler
Yep.
himself not really shining as brightly as his canonical brother.
While his
Shit.
personality is less flowery and condescending than Frieza, making him less of a whole hog ripoff, he also
Well, we're
loses a
about
lot
to
of
see
what
how
made his
overpowered
brother an
my audio
amazing
is.
villain, leaving him,
So I'm gonna
well,
lower
Let's go
that a
over
little bit.
Checklist of what Cooler accomplishes, shall we? Crashes a picnic? Check.
Yep.
Enslaves a race of pacifists? Check.
Check.
Fails to kill a single person? Check.
The only thing Cooler
Wow.
actually kills, Goku revives. Live on, Toriyama.
the one thing Cooler
Live on,
definitely brings
Birdie.
to the table, however, are his designs. His initial
yeah.
look is reminiscent of Frieza, but his transformed state is brilliantly
His
designed,
transformation
intimidating
is
as hell.
This
fucking
is slightly
awesome.
more interesting than his dad.
It is a neat idea to explore more of Frieza's family tree, but
But
following a
it
near
was
fatal battle on an exploding planet,
Sort of lackluster
Cooler
in
pales comparison to
comparison.
his younger brother as a villain.
Wow.
Further, his
didn't
Metacooler
even see it,
appearance
and he said
manages to
that.
be both simple and effective. He also manufactures an entire army of himself because, if you want something done right, do it yourselves.
What does
Exactly.
he do with his new clone army? He takes
Nothing.
over New Namek. The cheaper version of the entire
mean-
planet his brother destroyed.
Yeah.
Taking over Namek again. Oh, come on, there's gotta be another planet out there that you can exploit for something more than cabbage.
Cooler demonstrates a few unique moves and has some great fight scenes in his first movie.
There's
but
some
his lame
actual
personality
decent
and stupid
history
cloning
through it,
scheme
like his
keep him from the
crewmates, but
upper
not him
echelon of Dragon
himself.
Ball villains.
Looks like it's hip to be
You
square.
want to believe
because
that he
it
could have
ain't
stopped
great to be
Goku during the
22.
destruction of Frieza, or destruction of Vegeta. That was
What's Boo doing
great.
so low on this list?
Yeah, he's a ripoff of Boo. We were pretty blatant about that last year. But
Yep.
now let's talk about what makes Janemba work.
His design can
His
be a
second
bit busy,
form
but
is
overall its
fucking
Valentine's Day inspired
awesome.
color scheme and demonic motif, paired with one of the coolest weapons in Dragon Ball.
Oh, yeah.
Already help him to stand out.
But
I-
combine that with some
a lot
the
of these
coolest
guys
techniques
win
in the
with, like,
franchise,
fucking
including
cool
phasing in
factor.
and out of dimensions via Lego block teleportation, portal punching, and the ability to imbue matter with his own evil energy to create weapons of deadly precision.
And you have a character that would have made the top 10 if he hadn't been a shameless ripoff of a better villain and had, the slightest hint of personality.
Yep.
And a bigger vocabulary than a Pokemon.
I mean,
That being
it
said,
made sense why he
even
didn't have
French
much of
Nemesis
one, but
design is
still.
fascinating. Oh, and he kind of opened a portal to hell, bringing back every other villain in Dragon Ball history.
Including Goku's
One
most
Bojack.
monstrous dictator rival, Hitler. Make sure to play Dragon Ball Z
Yep.
Boo's Führer on the GBA for more info.
He's also the only villain outside of GT to require Vegeta and Goku to set aside their differences and combine their powers via fusion dance to put him down.
Go, Gadget
Yep.
Gogeta.
Janemba, if only you were more than a pretty face, maybe we could have had something.
21.
Fucking love Taka.
Oh, God. Do we have to do this?
Kaiser, get over it. GT happened.
Did it, though?
As the first entry into DBCember representing the GT canon, we're starting with the last villains introduced, the Shadow Dragons.
Conjured from the
I mean,
abused titular
Sin
Dragon
could
Balls,
probably
these
be
7
higher on
characters
his
embody
own,
the
but I'm
7 balls
interested to
as
hear
anthropomorphic
what
dragons,
their,
each with their own distinct personalities, designs, and set of
reasoning
abilities.
is.
Oh, yeah. Real distinct.
Because
By the
Gogeta.
way, how are those personalities? Real diverse character sheets here. Is evil. Also dragon. Mole? Question mark?
Come on, Kaiser, moles are like dragons of the earth.
Oh, yeah. And frogs are the dragons of the ocean. Oh, wait. That's just dragons.
Out of the 7 that are presented, only 3 of them are truly intimidating and effective. That being said, they're
Yep.
actually as high on this list as they are by concept alone.
Yeah, actually, I'd happily praise that part. Much as with
Yeah.
a lot of GT, the concepts presented are fascinating and tantalizing. But their
The
execution
fucking
falls
concept
short.
of all the Dragon
overuse of
Balls
Dragon
kicking
over
them in
last
the
30 years
ass.
has corrupted them, releasing a force of destruction that perverts the cornerstone of the entire series, turning their prized MacGuffin into their final challenge. How could you go wrong?
We'll give it to
I
Toei
know,
Animation for
right?
making these characters stand out with different designs and powers that
Excuse
make them unique. But at this point of the series, it comes off as tiresome and boring when most of them don't feel like a legitimate threat.
Sin Shenron, who becomes
I mean,
Omega
seriously,
Shenron, feels absolutely
Pan.
no different from every villain before him. His motivation is fascinating,
Beats
but
one.
it does nothing to
God damn it.
inform his actions. He's just evil for evil's sake, and what started as karma just becomes cliche.
Out of the dragons, Nova and
Yep.
Ice are easily the most complex characters of them all, and certainly do well to give depth to the plot and the events that unfold. Unfortunately, near the end, they are absorbed, forgotten, and we're left with an unsatisfying final boss.
That being
Indeed.
said, Omega
We
Shenron
do
brings
get
about many
Gogeta,
spectacular
though.
events, such as Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and the Universal Spirit Bomb.
Fuck
So while the
yeah.
dragons themselves might have been disappointing, they certainly made for some developments.
Also, they lead into the ending of GT, which we as a group wholeheartedly believe is the best ending the franchise has received so far. So, brownie points there.
So, to close,
Yep.
Super 17 didn't even make the list. See what baby, bitches?
20.
Evil
should see
scientist
if
Brain in a
Baby
jar
actually
and his
made
robot
the list, though.
companion. Before
But
Geo
Wheelo and
Android
Cochin,
19.
though.
Those familiar with last year's DBCember list have already seen the bountiful comparisons to be made with Dr. Gero and his androids.
But we're going to review this terrifying duo on their own merits. The
Yep.
exceptionally cool part about them is how unique their concepts and motivation are in comparison to everything that came before them.
The plot of capturing Goku and replacing his brain to become both the strongest and smartest man in the world is fascinating and gives everything this dark sci-fi tinge that radiates particularly well with the visuals and music in this film.
Unfortunately, while their concept
No
certainly ranks them
arguments
high for
here,
us
and-
personally, their execution lacks personality. Cochin is a treat
Fuck,
to
Lenny, I
watch
was about
because
to
of
say
how
that.
over-the-top dastardly he behaves throughout the film, but he's really only made that much better by comparison as Dr. Wheelo himself is...
A brain in a jar who wants to control the world because he's apparently super-duper smart and junk. While he's visually
Why not?
captivating with his grotesque design and concept,
I do
he's
like
not
what they
supported
did
much
with the
outside of his
character,
quest for
though.
world domination via Goku's body.
And Cochin is just a right-hand man-bot who, while kooky and malicious, lacks any nuance. Although a built-in Gatling gun in the arm definitely makes him stand high up on the list as far as minions go.
All in all, perfectly serviceable.
I mean, it's a cool
if
thing,
not
but stop
underdeveloped
hurting the
villains
Z
that
fighters
should
and
have set the standard for others to follow.
Fucking
Should have.
Dragon
But
Ball.
didn't.
Guess who else isn't on the list?
Oh,
19.
shit.
Zarbon, Dodoria, and the General Frieza forces wouldn't have made this list on their own. But as a collective, they helped
Yeah.
propel Dragon Ball to new sci-fi-inspired heights
There's some
with their designs,
bad Frieza
personalities, and
characters,
overwhelming strength.
but there's
Well,
some
overwhelming
decent
in comparison
ones,
to our
so
heroes. This isn't the first time we've seen such a gap in power between the minions and the good
I
guys.
agree.
But this extreme puts Gohan, Krillin, and even
Why am I
Vegeta on
yawning
the
so
defense
much?
at all times.
Well, until Vegeta jobs both Dodoria and Zarbon.
Oh yeah.
While still being forces to be reckoned with
Doing
in their
all
own
them
right, they exist primarily to
Zenkai
emphasize
boost
how
things.
terrifying Frieza must be. Also to give Vegeta a ladder to climb. He burns through each of them with ease, with the only hiccup being Zarbon's transformation.
But Zarbon's transformation exists not only to give Vegeta conflict, but also to introduce a mechanic that would very quickly become a staple of the franchise. That's right, kids. Transformations all basically started with Zarbon.
Unless we
Yep.
count the Uzaru, and that's its own ball of wax. Really though, it's the interactions these villains get with others that help flesh
Oh,
out
yeah.
Frieza's presence as a villain. Their deconstruction of the elite Namekian fighters is a level of brutality rarely seen in the franchise.
It's impossible to ignore just how unique and striking their designs are. The Saiyan uniforms work exceptionally well as standard soldier attire for Frieza's men. Zarbon's pretty boy look belying his beastly true form is a great contrast. And Dodoria!
Oh, yeah.
Look at this spiky evil bastard. He looks exactly like the guy who would kill a kid then snap his grandfather's neck.
But as they are
Exactly.
in fact minions, it's no surprise that their ranking would fall beneath their masters. But that doesn't mean they didn't leave a heck of an impact on the franchise as a whole. Wait, we completely forgot somebody!
Oh crap, yeah, how can we talk about the Frieza forces without bringing up its most memorable member?
Apool! Give it up for Apool, everyone!
Exactly. Fucking a pool. Wow, has it been fucking 10 minutes already? Alright, so let's click through this list here, because I've already said my thoughts on some as they went, but, you know, I was obviously quiet on certain areas because I was letting them speak and getting their opinions out. So, you know, at the bottom-ish, we got Hirudegan. I don't disagree with that being number 24. As I said, it's a cool design that bought his Dragon Fist, and yet one of the, at the time, one of the few things to have pushed Goku to Super Saiyan 3 other than Buu and Janemba. So just seeing that was there, but I'm sort of getting Dragon Fisted at the end, sort of took away any possible character development that Tapion or Trunks or whatever could have had, because, you know, Goku just showed up, saved the day, and didn't let anyone else have their fucking time to shine. Come on, man. Let Tapion do a thing. I mean, other than give Trunks his sword that gets broken later on, then unbroken. Dragon Ball fix your shit! Anyhow. So after Hirudegan, they put... Oh yeah, Cooler. I would possibly argue that Cooler deserves to be higher than, like, say, Dr. Wheelo and his henchmen, but at the same time, Wheelo and his henchmen came before the androids, whereas Cooler and Frieza, you know, Cooler came after Frieza, therefore is more of, the concept was there in World's Strongest, however, Toriyama polished it, or whatever, Toei and Toriyama polished it in the Android Saga to an extent, bringing us some of the most memorable villains out there, period. You know, 17, 18 in Cell, and 16, don't forget 16. 16 is a decent character, and he's probably going to be really high up on the list because he gives us that fucking Gohan moment of, you need to release your anger. And then Cell just crushes him. And Gohan goes Super Saiyan 2. And then fucking awesomeness ensues. I mean, come on. So after Cooler, we got ourselves Janemba. Now, I love the Fusion Reborn movie growing up. I really did. I used to watch it all the time, sometimes a few times a day, much like the Broly movie, but I got this after the Broly movie, and it was because you got to see Goku go Super Saiyan 3, you got to see all the villains come back and have then sort of Mystic Gohan just make short work of all the past villains, and you're just like, wow. And of course there's, you know, Hitler. But behind all that, as I said, it's another thing where, much like Buu, Goku and Vegeta needed to put aside their differences in order to defeat a common enemy, and we got one of the coolest fucking moves in Z history in the fucking Spirit Breaker or whatever, Soul Crusher or whatever. That thing is awesome, and Gogeta's design is awesome. And the fact that he hasn't appeared outside of the movies and GT is sort of a shame because, you know, I can't speak for Super too much, and minor spoiler, so click ahead like maybe 10 seconds now. Okay, so Vegito happened in Super, and we're back, people. So other than that, it seems like a wasted opportunity to introduce such a cool character and then not use them. And Janemba being clone of Boo, like the concept there of, you know, him being the amalgamation of all of the unclean souls at the time just exploded into one being and having a very limited vocabulary because of it. Like, he could have made for an interesting long-term villain, you know, just sort of have that vying for control power of, like, who is most evil on the inside. Like, you could have done something really cool with this character, but alas, we get nothing. The dragons, yeah, come to think about it, as they were talking, like, Omega Shenron did give us Vegeta, but Ice and Nova were definitely the better developed of the two, and it sort of sucks that they got sucked into Sin. But as I said, we get Universal Spirit Bomb, the end of GT, and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, which, come on, as a kid, when Super Saiyan 4 came out, you were like, holy shit, we thought 3 was cool, 4, what the fuck? Damn, Super Saiyan 4, what you doing? Then Goku and Vegeta going all Super Saiyan 4, like, what the fuck? Then, yep, I already touched on the Dr. Wheelo and his henchmen, but yeah, there were a better executed concept than Cooler in the sense that they Cooler had a good groundwork to go off of rather than these laid down a groundwork for better characters later on. Cooler could have been a lot cooler than he did turn out, so that's my thoughts on that. So since I already talked about that, yeah, Frieza Force. Trying to think, because yeah, collectively as a whole, the Frieza Force does make for a nice building block, and I don't know if they're putting the Ginyu Force separately, but if they aren't putting the Ginyu Force separately, then I think this should have gone a little higher. But as I said, all those characters sort of proved as a stepping stone to show how scary Frieza could be at the time, seeing as someone who could quickly dispatch like Gohan, Krillin, Yamcha, who are Tien, who are getting like outclassed at this point by their Saiyan counterparts and don't really make a comeback until either Cell or Boo. Ten Shinhan making the biggest improvement of not even going to fucking Namek and being able to fight Super Boo a little bit with, I believe, Gotenks and Piccolo absorbed. Like, the fact he could go at least a little toe-to-toe with Boo for a modicum of time shows he surpassed Perfect Cell in power, which is interesting as hell. So, if we're not including the Ginyu Force, I agree with its placement on the list. If we are including the Ginyu Force, I believe it should have been a tad higher. And yeah, I believe we talked about all the villains. I want to see if I missed one. Cooler, Janemba. Yeah. Alright, that's all of them. So those were my thoughts and whatnot on their list so far, 24 to 19. Let me know, do you agree with their placements? Do you agree with my points? Do you have some different points to make? Do you agree with their points? Let me know down below and let's get this discussion going. See you on the next one, folks. And we're gonna break on 3. 1, 2, 3, break.